No one ever planned to notice Silas Marin. That was the strange thing about the little roadside diner. It was always full, always noisy, always alive. Plates clattered, coffee poured endlessly, laughter burst and faded. Yet every morning at the same corner booth near the foggy window, an old man sat so quietly it felt as if the world had agreed to pass him by. If this story touched your heart, like, share, and comment where you're watching from. Your support helps us keep spreading hope. Silas arrived just after sunrise, leaning heavily on a wooden cane polished smooth by years of use. His jacket hung loose on his thin frame, and his hands shook with a weakness that seemed deeper than age alone. He ordered the same thing every day, a bowl of warm oatmeal and a cup of tea he rarely finished. Most customers didn't mean to ignore him. They were simply busy being alive, checking phones, rushing to work, talking over breakfast. Silas didn't mind, or at least he told himself he didn't. Loneliness becomes easier to carry when you pretend it belongs to you. The one person who truly saw him was Elena Brookwell. Elena was the kind of waitress people remembered long after leaving the diner, even if they couldn't explain why. Maybe it was her calm voice, or the way she listened with her eyes as much as her ears. She worked double shifts, wore scuffed shoes, and carried the quiet weight of someone who knew life could be unkind, but chose kindness anyway. The first time Elena noticed Silas struggling, she was wiping the counter and glanced over by chance. She saw his spoon tremble violently as he tried to lift it. Oatmeal slid back into the bowl again and again. Silas's jaw tightened, not in anger, but in shame. Elena didn't rush. She didn't call attention to it. She walked over slowly, knelt beside the booth, and spoke softly, as if offering something precious. "Would you mind if I helped you today?" Silas looked up startled. For a moment, pride flickered in his eyes, then faded into exhaustion. He gave a small nod. That morning, Elena fed him one careful spoonful at a time. She waited between bites, letting him set the pace. When he finished, she smiled like it was the most ordinary thing in the world, and just like that, a routine was born. Every morning after that, Elena made sure Silas's table was ready. She warmed his oatmeal just right. She adjusted his napkin. And when his hands refused to cooperate, she fed him patiently, never rushing, never sighing. Silas began to talk. At first only a little, about the weather, about the diner's coffee being stronger than it used to be. Then, gradually, deeper things slipped out. He spoke of a small house he once owned, of a wife named Margaret who loved old radio songs, of a son who left home decades ago chasing ambition and never quite found his way back. He was brilliant, Silas said one morning, staring into his bowl, too brilliant to stay. Elena listened without judgment. She never asked why the son hadn't returned. She simply nodded and kept feeding him, as if every word deserved space to exist. Other customers noticed. Some smiled at the sight, others whispered. A few shook their heads. "She's too soft," someone muttered. "He's not even family," said another. Elena heard it all. She chose not to hear any of it. Sometimes Silas didn't have enough money. Elena quietly covered the rest. Sometimes he stayed longer than necessary just to talk. Elena never hurried him along. What Silas never said, but felt deeply, was that those mornings gave him a reason to wake up. In a world that had slowly shrunk to doctor's visits and empty rooms, Elena made it feel wide again. Then came the day everything changed. It started like any other morning. The diner hummed with familiar sounds. Elena placed Silas's oatmeal on the table and sat beside him, lifting the spoon gently. Just as she did, the bell above the diner door rang. A man stepped inside wearing a tailored navy suit that looked out of place among vinyl boots and chipped mugs. He moved with quiet confidence, the kind earned through years of responsibility. His eyes scanned the room, not for a seat, but for someone. His name was Rowan Marin. Rowan froze when he saw the corner booth. The old man Elena was feeding looked impossibly small, shoulders hunched, eyes tired. Rowan's chest tightened. He recognized the curve of that face instantly. The hands that once lifted him onto shoulders. The voice that used to read bedtime stories. His father. For years, Rowan had buried himself in building companies, negotiating deals, chasing success with relentless focus. He told himself he was doing it for his family. He told himself he'd reconnect soon. Soon had turned into decades. Rowan took a step forward, then another. The diner seemed to fade around him. Silas looked up, confused at first. Then his eyes widened. "Rowan?" he whispered. Rowan dropped to his knees beside the booth, not caring who saw. His voice trembled. "I'm here, Dad." Silas stared, as if afraid the moment would disappear. Then his weak hand reached out. Rowan took it, gripping tightly, as though letting go would undo everything. Elena stood quietly, giving them space. Her heart pounded, not from shock, but from something softer. Relief, maybe. Hope. Tears slipped down Silas's cheeks. "I thought you forgot me." Rowan shook his head, eyes shining. "I forgot everything that mattered. They talked for a long time. About regrets, about silence, about time that couldn't be reclaimed but could still be honored." Finally, Rowan turned to Elena. "I saw what you did," he said, "every day." Elena shifted uncomfortably. "I just helped him eat." Rowan smiled sadly. "No, you helped him live." Rowan was a billionaire, though Elena didn't know that yet. He didn't announce it. He didn't need to. Instead, he did something far quieter. He arranged for Silas to receive the care he needed without taking away his dignity. He renovated the old house but kept every familiar detail. He made sure his father was never alone again. And the diner? Rowan didn't change it. He supported it, funded free breakfast for seniors, increased wages, created a scholarship fund in Elena's name, one she tried to refuse until Rowan explained it would help others like her. Elena stayed exactly where she was. "Someone still needs to notice the quiet ones," she said. Silas continued coming to the diner, not because he had to, but because he wanted to. Some days Rowan joined him. Other days Elena still fed him, smiling as always. The corner booth became a place of warmth, not loneliness. And those who watched, customers, strangers, passers-by, felt something stir inside them. A reminder that kindness doesn't need an audience, that compassion, offered daily and without condition, can change the course of lives. Silas Marin was once invisible, until someone chose to see him. And in that simple act of feeding another human being, a broken family found its way back to each other, one gentle spoonful at a time.